Hello everyone and welcome to Talk of Game. Just finished West Ham United 2, Rapid Vienna 0. The Hammers continue their winning ways in the Europa League group stage. Gonzo, how you feeling?
Yeah, really pleased, mate. Really pleased. It was a funny old game, really, wasn't it? Because aside from the penalty incident, which I'm sure we'll get into, we never really seemed like we were particularly under threat, and I think we played in such a fashion as well. Not quite as exciting as the first game, it has to be said, but a really professional job. And I was delighted to see, as we suspected at the outset, that David Moyes had taken it very seriously. There's no doubt about it in my mind now, particularly after seeing the substitutions. We want to win this group. It's quite clear.
Anyway, West Ham came close in the first half to scoring on a couple of occasions from set pieces, with Declan Rice hitting the post from a free kick and then Craig Dawson hitting the post with a header from a corner as well. But Declan Rice did open the scoring, Gonzo. Lovely ball from Andre Yarmolenko. Really nice pass to him to Antonio. Brings it down. Second touch, he sort of half volleys it. I say that, it sounds like he's done something fancy, but it's still a half volley. Half volleys across the face of the goal to Declan Rice, turns it in. Left foot and 1-0 West Ham.
And yeah, great goal actually. And that ball was there all the time. The out ball to Antonio was there the whole time to get him behind. You're right, it was a lovely, perhaps a little shorter version of it, a delicately crafted ball that time from Yarmolenko into him. But it didn't matter whether it was coming from Cresswell, whether it's coming from Johnson, even Dawson at times. That ball for Antonio to get in behind was always there, and he had the turning and the beating in a foot race against his opposite number, regardless of who it was in that back four. At this point, he was a little bit central. I also thought it was really nice awareness from him, actually, to clearly he's a goal scorer now. Every goal scorer is going to have an element of greed to their game and selfishness, but the awareness to spot Declan there, it was a really good team goal, mate.
Yeah, I think Antonio's assists is sort of going overlooked this season because of his goal scoring, understandably, but he's racking up the assists as well. I think it's a good run from Declan as well, because not long before that, Antonio sort of cut down the right-hand side of the box and put in a similar type of cross, though not loads of power on it, across the 6-yarder, and just bobbled across the 6-yarder. And when you're watching, you're sort of like, well, that's where you should be, Antonio. You should be there. That's why there's no one there, because that's your job. So it's good at Declan getting the box, but I thought it was a fantastic pass by Yarmolenko, who I don't think he had the best game. We'll talk about individual performers in a minute. But this is why he was in the team, because he is capable of those moments. He is capable of something that perhaps not everyone else in our team is. He's got the vision, but he's also got the ability to do that. And like you said, that there was a similar pass to Antonio not long before where he was ruled offside and Antonio felt he should have had a penalty for it. But that centre-back didn't jump for it. The centre-back let it go onto Antonio's chest, and then, you know, the linesman flagged and whatnot. There was a similar thing again. In it goes. Good run by Declan. Fantastic goal. But half-time, Gonzo, 1-0 West Ham. What were you thinking?
I was obviously just pleased to be a goal up, but I thought we were the better team. But our possession had been quite sloppy at times as well. I thought we were giving the ball away carelessly, but without threat, if you know what I mean. We'd give the ball.
Noble.
Sorry?
Noble.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, we'll speak about Noble. I'm glad you mentioned that, because I felt the dynamic was wrong between him and Rice, because and it was only rectified by the scoring of the goal, by the way, because what you had a situation. Did you see how well Rice was sweeping up and clearing at the back? It was a couple of occasions Rice was the last man actually sprinting back. And unfortunately, what you have now when you play those two together is, by and large, Noble is going to be the most advanced out of the two. So really, Rice is almost holding back an awful lot, which I felt curtailed his forays forward, and that wasn't quite right. But obviously, the goal rectified that. But I was just really pleased. Clearly, we were getting lots of corners. We were a massive threat from corners. Dawson could have finished the game with 3 goals. Certainly should have had 1, and the defence weren't particularly troubled. Let's be fair. So I was really pleased. 1-0 at half time.
Yeah, I was as well. It was very similar to Zagreb, and it was in a way similar to the Leeds United game at half-time. That we weren't in the best in the first half, but yet we created chances. And that's the difference between your feeling against Leeds and your feeling tonight. Is Leeds were 1-0 down, so there was a little bit of, come on, about it, but tonight we're 1-0 up. And arguably, I thought we possibly played better at Ellen Road for the first 45 minutes and, 1-0 down, 1-0 up tonight. But it was sort of, I would say, I joined Charlie at half time. I said, Charlie, usually the phrase job done in football is almost like a backhanded compliment. We got the job done. It basically means you've done what you had to do, nothing else. It wasn't great. It was just efficient. But that's what tonight was. I felt in the first half. I thought it was efficient. I thought we kept them at arm's length. Any chances they had were usually self-inflicted, whether it's sloppy play or laziness or someone out of position. Going forward, I thought we looked dangerous, mainly from set pieces, which makes me frustrated when we do a short corner. I bloody hate when we take a short corner. It really frustrates me, especially when like 2 corners later, the ball's clunking off the post for me, and you're thinking we could be doing that everyone. But saying that, I thought we were in control in the first half again. Yeah. We didn't create loads of massive chances, but I thought we looked good without ever looking excellent. Anyway, second half, Gonzo. First talking point, I guess, is the penalty. Ben Johnson goes in for a challenge. Referee originally blows for a penalty on Ben Johnson, and there was a little bit of, don't know what you want to call, discussion, I guess, between the West Ham players and the referee, and the West Ham players and the Rapid Vienna player as well.
Yeah, I mean, it dragged on a little bit. It was quite clear. I got worried with the referee that he hadn't watched it from the angle that was really conclusive. When he went and looked at it on the little screen, I'm not particularly happy where the screen's situated. It has to be said. I definitely think that referees should be insulated a little bit from the crowd. I think there should be a little cubby hole or something. I think it's fair play to the guy for going there and making a decision. Don't know what the VAR was doing. That could have turned out really badly because Ben Johnson didn't touch him. Now, don't get me wrong. I think it was a clumsy extension of the leg from Johnson, but he did pull it. And the guy, I'm not even sure the guy dived. I think the guy did genuinely think that Johnson had got him, which made him check his stride pattern. And then one of his feet kicked the other one. It was a calamity sort of stumble, really. But when the referee didn't look at it from that third angle, I thought, oh, no, this is not going to be good. But you know what? Fair play to him, made his decision. And fair play to him for not really being influenced too much by basically people that are that far away from him when he's looking at a screen, which can't be good at all.
Yeah, I think I can't tell if Johnson's lucky, he doesn't get punished, or if Johnson actually does something clever by he almost like pulls his foot away to some extent. Sometimes players go and they pull their whole leg away. Johnson can't do that. His leg's already extended, but it's almost like he turns his ankle, if you like, so his foot then moves away from the player. And I think it is a bit of a dive from the player. I think he's actually anticipating the contact from Johnson, and his left leg, he drags that left foot across the ground. His left leg definitely gets dragged so it hits his right one. So it's more of a dive than anything. But the one thing I will say, without knowing for sure, just going by what we're seeing, benefit of the doubt is that it looked like the Rapid Vienna player almost admitted he had been touched, because you could see the reaction of Declan Rice in that in particular, saying the referee, just go speak to the player, just go talk to the player. And the referee sort of looked at him and then went to the screen. So I don't know if the player had actually said to the referee, you didn't actually touch me. You're going to have to go have a look at that one, really. But yeah, right decision in the end, and fortunate for Ben Johnson, perhaps. Jared Bowen, Gonzo had an amazing chance to make it 2. Well, first of all, actually, scrap that. Substitutions, you mentioned it earlier on. David Moyes did his first subs around about the hour mark.
Yeah.
And, I've said to you, I'd like to send out a statement in the Europa League, and usually I'm referring to the scoreline. I want to win 2-0, 3-0. I want wins that says we are going to win this group. I think actually the statement was, when Moyes did his substitution, I think that was a statement to the rest of the teams in the Europa League about West Ham United, because he brought on Lanzini, Bowen, and Souček. And not only did he bring them on, he took off Noble and Vlasic, who were Antonio as well for obvious reasons, but Vlasic and Noble, who were probably the 2 tired / ghostly players, if you like.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't mean that to be just disrespectful rubbish. It's just they were the worst players on the pitch, I think, amongst them anyway. And that was a statement of intent. Those are big players to bring on as well. And as I said at the start of the video, that's when I thought, okay, that was rubber stamping it for me. We suspected it with a lineup, but that was Moyes rubber stamping it and saying, I want to top this group here. I really do. And I thought very much, with Fornell's coming on as well, which I know was separate. It wasn't part of that bank of 3. And you're right to separate Antonio from that. Antonio was there to be looked after. But it was very, I thought it was very much noble. Vlasic, you're not doing enough here, so I'm going to bring on 2 guys that will do better than you've been doing. And I did think that was a statement in saying, look, not everyone's going to play well in every game. That much is clear. But it's nice to see Moyes, who's obviously had a reputation in the past of not making substitutions, actually making decisive substitutions. And whilst I don't think it impacted the scoreline in the end, there was a bit of an uplift. There was a bit of an improvement, I think, particularly with the Fornals one. Certainly. Also worth noting, just because Fornals came on for Yarmolenko, tracked back all the way back and did a sliding interception at the end of the first half to deny a shot in our box. He was further back than the 2 centre-backs. He sprinted the whole length of the pitch. Just wanted to point that out as well, because he's not the fastest player in the world. He's not the most dynamic, but I feel in the last 2 performances he's put in shifts and he's walked off that pitch absolutely knackered.
The chance though, I mean, what a pass from Fornals.
Yeah,
that
wonderful
pass from Fornals was just unbelievable. And then Bowen's through and goal. He misses. Talk us through how you saw it.
Funny enough, I saw it much the same as Fornals' chance that Antonio set up at the weekend. I thought he had a little bit too much time. Almost the pass is so good, he almost had a little bit too much time to think about it. You want almost just one touch where he nudges it past him or something. The moment they think, in both instances, both the Fornals opportunity in the last game and Bowen in this one, when the moment they think, well, I can perhaps control it, I can perhaps touch it, then they're thinking, right, do I go to the right of him? Do I go to the left of him? Do I chip it? And, you sort of get some sort of in-betweeny nothing. He'll be disappointed because he's a good player. But again, it was they were carrying quite a high line at that point, and he also got in again down the wing where he got absolutely hacked down. By the way, should I say, by that point, Wimmer should have had a red card. What's not stopped is encouraged in life, and Wimmer should have been either the first or the second assault on Yarmolenko. The referee should have shown him a card just to stop it, by the way. Absolutely dirty player. I'm not saying we're innocent. The biggest dive of the game, by the way, was by Antonio to win a free kick on a touchline, if you watch that one. It's not like we're innocent, but I just thought, actually, the referee has an obligation to stop, because what happened afterwards was Rice tried to take the law into his own hands shortly afterwards because the referee wasn't getting a grip on Wimmer. So Rice thought, actually, I'm going to deal with this and I'm going to exact some punishment. And it's up to the referee to stop that sort of stuff from happening by just early doors. So actually, mate, you repeatedly fouled. I actually thought he was going to injure Yarmolenko twice. And then I thought Wimmer was going to injure Bowen. I just thought, could someone please just get a grip of this before he injures someone? But Bowen brought another. I was just pleased. Bowen came on and kept the momentum going up front, really.
I thought Fornals looked a bit of class when he came on, and the Bowen thing was just it's just one of those things where you just think, oh, come on, because he does the hard bit. He actually does the hard bit. The hard bit is, first of all, the run. He times it to perfection. You can see their right back is a yard behind the rest of the defence. So he sort of uses that and thinks, well, I'm going to sneak behind the centre backs here, and I'm still onside. The pass from Fornals is also just beautiful. It's just perfect on a plate for Jared Bowen, puts him through 1-on-1. So that's 2 really hard things done. The next hard bit is the goal is in your face. What you're going to do? So he makes the right decision. He goes round him. He goes past him. And then it sort of comes to the finish. And I don't know if it's nerves. I don't know if it's lack of composure. If it's simply because he was on his weak foot. Because he takes a touch. He does the right thing. He's got time. He doesn't hit it in a panic with that. He takes a touch to tee himself up a bit. He does it that bit right. Then somehow just blazes over. I'm just going to put it down to he got a bit overexcited, but also he's just on his weak foot. So he thinks, I'm just going to put my laces through this. Because there's a couple of defenders on the line at that point. So get my laces through. It just blazes over. And at that point, I'm going to admit, I got a little bit nervous because I thought 1-0 up, they might have had a penalty. We've just missed a massive chance. And I don't think we were playing unbelievable football, Gonzo. I thought we were comfortable, but that is it. We were not fantastic. We weren't head and shoulders above Rapid Vienna. We were simply getting the job done. But in football, as we've seen plenty of times being a West Ham fan, it doesn't take much. All it takes is one mistake and all of a sudden, bang. And I think when we do we'll talk about the players individually in a minute, I think we're going to be lauding praise on our defenders more than our offensive players, which sort of tells a story in a way to some extent. But anyway, 2-0. We made it 2-0 right at the death when we were we didn't really know if we wanted to time waste or go for the killer goal with corners and that. We got a free kick. Diop come all the way up and we took it short, and I thought, oh no, I hate it. It's a pet hate of mine when you bring centre backs up and play it short, because then they're out of position. You're trying to hold the ball in the corner, which is easy to lose possession in. And your centre back's in the middle of the box waiting for it. But anyway, 2-0. Saeed Benrahma scored.
Yeah, and I mean, there was 2 players that I felt deserved to score. Right, maybe 3, maybe 4. But if anyone deserved to score, Benrahma scored, deserved it in the same way that Rice deserved it, because they were probably the 2 best players on the pitch. In fact, they were the 2 best players on the pitch. I'm going to praise the centre halves who played well, but let's be fair, they didn't have an awful lot to do. But what they did well. But Benrahma was just a class performer throughout, and I like the way he's now got that calm confidence about him, that calm confidence that comes from knowing you're an established member of the team. And that's why I think you saw the finish that you saw. I mean, he does love the curled finish. He really does. But this was a sort of a calm, soft, caressed one, if you start to sound a bit sensual, actually, right into the bottom corner. And it was just the mark of a player who is confident and who knows that his place is safe. He's not going to get a load of criticism if he doesn't score that. But he played so well, had been a constant threat, and keeps getting up after the foul. They foul him, and people continue to foul him, and he dusts himself down and gets up. And I just thought technically he was really good. And we're now seeing a consistent level of performance for him, where he's actually bloody good almost every time he plays, much like Declan himself, who was the other goal scorer, of course. But Benrahma's finish was really good, and fair play to Bowen for picking him out. But I just love the way Benrahma sort of calmed it, slowed the whole play down, made it slow motion, stood the defender up, and curled it around the defender and around the keeper. Top quality finish.
Yeah, the funny thing is, well, first of all, Declan Rice wins the ball back from a bit of a lofted half a clearance, and it's a nice pass into Bowen. It's one of them sharp ones that just you play it behind other teams' midfield. I always think if you can pass it to someone in front of their defence, it's game on, really. That player can turn quick with one touch, good, it's game on. Defences are unorganised. But credit to Bowen, because just before that, in order for Rice to get the ball, Johnson was trying to hold it in the corner, sort of lost it. The defender got it, and Bowen ran at him to put him under pressure to clear it. He cleared it, and Bowen obviously then turned and ran all the way back to 18 yards. He was onside to get the ball from Declan Rice. Then Benrahma, let's be honest, right? When he got the ball, I thought he pinched it off Fornals. I thought Fornals was the best person to receive the ball, because Fornals was there, shaped up on his right. Benrahma comes in. He's on a bit of a stretch as well, Benrahma. He sort of got a stretch to get it, whereas it was just rolling to Fornals. You can see Fornals like, what have you done that for? But that takes confidence. That's a player in confident form. It's just, no, you're not having that. Because Benrahma can see Fornals is there. He's clearly in his shot, right? It's not like he hasn't noticed him. He's pinched it off Fornals here. But he's done the finish. And sometimes when you watch a goal 3-4 times, you notice something different every time, because you look at more, you broaden what you're watching. You've seen the finish. Now let's look at everything else. And the thing with Benrahma's goal is, it's like a yard away from the post. It almost goes down the middle of the goal. Yeah, it's so far away from the goalkeeper. I've watched it a couple of times thinking, how on earth has that gone in? And I think it's just credit to his finish, the fact that he shifts it to his right foot and then hits it quickly. And it's something that, it's almost like the Jack Grealish technique. You see Grealish very often, not necessarily to shoot, sometimes it'll be a through ball. Grealish will often tee up his defender and go toe-to-toe and shift onto his right foot and pass it in the same move. And fantastic finish by Benrahma. Anyway, we talk about the overall performance on the individual players in just a minute. Before we do, a couple of things. First of all, Alan, thank you for the super chat. Says any chance for a shout out for the missus? She's at home sick and love watching you every day.
Oh, Mrs. Allen. Get well
But
soon.
No shout out from Mr.
No,
Rowley.
sorry, we can't do it, Woody.
Second of all, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. Third of all, if you don't mind taking 2 minutes, there's an app in the description below. It's a fantasy football app. Myself and Gonzo will talk more about it later. I always say next month in October. We'll talk more about it then. But it's completely free. Download it, get involved. We get paid by more people joining up, essentially. If no one joins it, we get no money, kind of thing. Links in description. It's six-a-side football. You open packs, you get players, use those players, try and win points. The more points you get, you can win a little bit of money.
They're paying out cash prizes. They're paying out
top prize,
prizes.
£1,500 if you top it. And whoever tops the Hammers Chat, there's not a Hammers Chat group, but we can see who's downloaded it. Whoever comes top of Hammers Chat will win a match-worn shirt from a West Ham player this season. Get involved. Gonzo, full-time, 2-0. What do you make of that game?
Just a steady Eddie performance in Europe. Who'd have thought you'd say that about West Ham? I mean, 6. This is maximum points in the group. We are
2 clean sheets.
2 great point. We look like the best team in the group. We are the best team in the group. And you've only got to look around at some of the other performances and results from English teams in Europe to be absolutely delighted with what we've seen there, Geo. This is magnificent. You're not going to be able to be completely Look, take the Newcastle game, for instance, right? We were, particularly in the second half, we were like a force of nature. West Ham were like a hurricane, right? We can't be hurricane West Ham in every game. At some point, you're going to need to be wise with your substitutions. At some point, you're going to need to calm the game down and to slow it down. And I thought we did that really well. I felt we looked, and I thought this, I've said this now twice, but we look like an experienced European team. Look, we've got some European players in their European pedigree. Why wouldn't we, I guess? But these are uncharted times for West Ham, Joe, because I'm just not expected to see it. So, did I enjoy the game because we had 1,000 shots? No, but I enjoyed it from the point of view of watching it from just sort of calm, relaxed enjoyment of watching your team progressing quite nicely on their way to winning their group in Europe. It's weird.
Comfortably as well. I think that's the most enjoyable thing. We aren't fluking these 2 wins so far. We haven't scraped them. We have done it comfortably, in control of the game from the first minute to the last minute. A couple of sloppy bits of errors here and there in both games. That's expected. You know, you can watch Man City, you can watch PSG. They make errors in the game. Some of the biggest clubs in the world of football, like Barcelona and Real Madrid at the minute, are falling apart. Our club is somehow sailing through consistently, looking solid. We made 7 changes to the team that beat Leeds United. 7 changes we've made for this European game tonight. And we've won comfortably. Yes, we had to call on some of those players to see the game over the line, but that's good management. That's a good moves by the manager to say, actually, that's my starting 11. And on the hour mark, 1-0 up, but we're looking okay, but could do better. So I'm going to make us do better. I'm going to bring on Souček. I'm going to bring on Jared Bowen. I'm going to bring on Manuel Lanzini. I'm going to go for goal number 2. Because, and I know not everyone will agree with me, but Moyes in his first tenure here, in possibly before the break of COVID, at 1-0 tonight on the hour mark, Moyes would have probably made more defensive-minded substitutions than he did tonight. But he didn't tonight. He went for it. He said, no, I'm having 1-0. I want 2. You could see him urging the players forward from the touchline. This is a manager that doesn't just want to take the Europa League seriously. This is a manager that wants to win every game in European football and win it comfortably too. It's very refreshing to see and thoroughly enjoyable to watch. Was the performance excellent? To some aspects it was, but was it the most entertaining game? No. But tell you what, that was an absolutely fantastic result from West Ham tonight. Really good. And I would argue that the fact that we can win these games comfortably without playing Hurricane West Ham shows just how good we are, really, because you have to rely on playing like that. I think you've got underlying issues somewhere. We don't have to. We can win in a variety of ways. And remember last season, we used to win a game before, then we'd say, when are we going to admit that this is just West Ham? We have to accept that we are now in contention for European places. This is no longer a fluke. Tonight, Zagreb, Leeds, we can't sit here and say, we won, but we didn't play our best. We just have to accept they're a bloody damn good team these days, and we're going to win games, and we don't have to play our best to win games because we're so good, if that makes any sense at all. But anyway.
It does, of course it does. But a lot of the top clubs do that, Gio. So it's not Liverpool don't win 5-0 every game, do they? This is what happens. This is what it's all about. And I'm really, really chuffed.
Anyway, quick thank you to Val. Thanks, you, boys.
Val.
Love this team, and we have strong squad there. Gonzo, individual players. Do you know the score? It was 2-0. You know the score when it comes to individual players. Take a pick.
Oh, well, it was game on today, Gio, as you know. And I want to talk about Diop and Dawson. Actually, I thought Dawson I thought they were a little bit of a rough and tough team. We don't mind that. It was only, I was only Wimmer, really, because I thought he was, if they didn't get hold of it, he was going to injure someone. But I don't mind a little bit of rough and tough team. I think we've got some people in our team, namely the Czech lads. I'd say Sufal, Rice, and Souček. Don't mind dishing it out a little bit. So for that reason, I was really pleased that Dawson was in there, actually. I thought he was the right player for the right game. I noticed a couple of times he shrugged the guy off, little cheeky shove here and there, and, a little square up. And I thought, okay, this is good. I wanted someone that liked a bit of combat in there. And I thought Dawson did that very well. And I also thought, I think, again, you can't keep saying it and it not be relevant. I think Diop's getting better. I do. And I don't know why this is. It might be coaching. It might be that Zuma's giving him a rocket up the backside. But also, I think you've got to put it into context that Diop was playing not in his favoured position. Diop was playing as a left-sided centre-back. Dawson got to play in his favoured position. So you add that into it. And I thought Diop was really, really good today. And by and large, we didn't give him a sniff. And when we did, Declan Rice was getting back and cutting it out. Or as you saw, Yarmolenko came back and cut one out as well. So I think those two players were really impressive. Thought Antonio was really good. He had to come off. Antonio was a threat throughout, as you saw. Bowen came on, Fornells came on. Thought they did well. The two outstanding guys in the middle were obviously Declan Rice. I say middle, midfield. Declan Rice and Benrahma were brilliant for us today. I thought brilliant.
I thought, to be a bit different from you, I'll pick on one player that you did, but Ben Johnson, I thought was brilliant. I thought Ben Johnson had a really solid game, defensively and offensively too. I thought he got forward well, but I thought defensively he held his ground. Really good performance from him, kind of thing. I think when we play our next game against Genk, should Ryan Fredericks be fit, I think Moyes is going to have a bit of a decision there, because I think Johnson's done enough to keep the shirt for the next Europa League game or the next League Cup game, whichever one comes around next, the Man City game or the Genk game. I think Johnson's done enough to say, I start right back, actually. And if you're going to not play Masuaku, put him left back, because right back's my spot. I think Johnson played really good. I thought Dawson was fantastic. Not quite my man of match, but second. I thought Dawson was really good. Every time they came forward and the ball came in the area, it seemed to be him that was getting rid of it. And maybe I was a bit harsh. I said to Charlie, it was Dawson unlucky to hit the post, or was that poor finish to some extent? Because when I watch it, I feel like Dawson should score that. Some of Dawson's ability, I think he should be scoring that header. But I let him off. I thought he was superb today, actually. And I thought Diop was shaky in the first 5-10 minutes, because I think the striker, whoever it was really on his toes. He was right in front of Diop, backing into him. I thought a couple of times it felt like Diop was getting too close to him. But when you watch it back, actually, it's just the striker. It's good striker play. He's getting into Diop's chest, like Antonio does to defenders, getting into his chest. And I'm not going to give you an inch, but whatever. However, between Dawson and Diop, they sorted it out after about 5 minutes. Didn't see the striker getting near Diop since. But yeah, I thought Craig Dawson was unbelievable today, actually. And then Saeed Benrahma just keeps getting better, doesn't he? At the start of the season, I think maybe this is a bit harsh, but I think Benrahma was perhaps fortunate that we hadn't signed Vlasic or got Jesse Lingard back of that, because it meant he started by default. Fornals and Bourne were guaranteed to start. No. Jesse Lingard's spot was up for grabs almost, and because Lingard wasn't back, it was like, well, you're going to have to start the season while we've got 2 or 3 weeks left of the window to get someone in. And by the time Vlasic has obviously arrived, Benrahma has started the season in excellent form. But that's okay, you get an opportunity and you make the most of it. And Benrahma's done that. But now Vlasic has come in and it's like, sorry, this is how you Benrahma's place now. You're going to have to wait to get into the team. Between the three of them, the Said, Jared and Pablo, they're actually keeping a player that cost us 30 million on the bench.
For sure.
On merit as well. West Ham a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, we buy a player for that money. He walks into the starting 11. He walks into that team because he has to. We can't afford to buy players for 30 million and not put them into the starting 11. Well, actually, we can now because the ones in the starting 11 are that good. And Benrahma proved it again tonight. I've got no doubt he pinched that ball from Pablo Fornals at the end. But do you know something? That was a player in confidence. That was a player in the 90th minute. I thought, no, I'm having this. I've had a good game. I'm going to finish this off. And he did. I thought he was absolutely fantastic. Anyway, your final words, please, Gonzo, as well as your man match.
Yeah, final words. Absolutely, just really chuffed. That result, when you wake up tomorrow morning and read the newspaper, whatever, no one reads the newspapers anymore, but you know what I mean? Whatever, read your favourite website, watch a couple of videos, watch Sky Sports News as you're eating your cornflakes, and it pops up there. Just take a little look at what everybody else is doing in Europe, and then look at West Ham's group and think how steady Eddie and how consistent and how unflustered we were. And I think when you look at that, you'll think, well, this is something really interesting is going on at West Ham at the moment. We come out of there and it looks like the team look fit and ready for the next game against Brentford. So I'm thrilled, absolutely thrilled with that. Maximum points. I'm not going to say for minimum effort because that's a bit disrespectful and it doesn't tell the whole story. But maximum points with efficient expenditure, if you know what I mean. And I'm very, very pleased with that. Last game against Leeds, I gave the man of the match to Said Benrahma. I'm not going to give him the man of the match today, although he came with a bloody good shout, wasn't he? I mean, excellent. So I just want to mention him again because I thought he was brilliant. I'm really pleased for all the reasons Joe just said. However, there's just one man of the match today, and that's Declan Rice, because I don't know. I don't really know how much more you have to say about that, but that's about as complete a midfield performance as you're likely to see. The best thing I can say about Declan Rice is it won't be the last one that you'll see. Declan Rice today probably did scored a goal, did possibly the most commanding towering header of the game, the two best interceptions of the game, probably dribbled the ball about as much as anybody else. Everything that you do on a football pitch, be it heading, tackling, intercepting, dribbling, shooting, passing, all of the stuff that a footballer needs to do, Declan Rice can do it. And today was commanding, and we've really, really got just a top midfielder on our hands.
I completely agree. I thought we'll use the tag a professional performance from West Ham tonight. From start to finish, I thought we were in control. We were in charge of that game. Fantastic result at the end of it. Like you said, just it's good to enjoy it, though. It's good to enjoy being top of our Europa League group stage. A double header with Genk up for the next two fixtures. And if we can get 4 points out of that, we're pretty much guaranteed to win the group with 2 games to spare. It's an unbelievable achievement. Then we might see Moyes bringing new players in, kind of thing. But man of the match has to be Declan Rice for me as well. He looks 1 foot taller than everyone else on the pitch. It almost looks unfair that we're playing Declan Rice. You know, I feel a bit sorry for Rapid Vienna. The right back did something, and they said, they signed him in the summer for £100,000. I thought, crikey, you've got to add another couple of zeros on the end of that to afford Declan Rice. We need to add 3 more zeros on the end of it for Declan Rice. But that just shows the player we've got is just amazing. I thought Mark Noble almost hindered him a little bit tonight. I felt like he couldn't get going and play his natural game with Noble next to him, which was a shame. Although I have to admit, that celebration, lumping throat stuff, Declan Rice sliding on his knees, pointing to Mark Noble, and that big hug. Oh, that melted my heart, So that melted my heart. He doesn't get the man of the match for that, but everything else he did on the pitch, I'll give him man of the match. He was just sensational. 10 out of 10 stuff from him. And when you watch him, that interception that you're talking about where he was running towards our goal, he's in our own 18-yard box. He's facing Areola. The striker's behind him. He looks around and thinks, you know what? And he just dribbles past the bloke, gets chopped down in the end, But that's the only way you can stop him, by taking him out, because he's that bloody good. Anyway, shall we leave it there, my friend?
Before we do,
yes,
I really like that.
Oh no, you're gonna nick that.
What?
You're gonna nick that?
I don't know, but that's very good. That's very good. Imran's got one there, I'll tell you. Like that. Deckenbauer, yes.
Anyway, right. Anyway, that's been Gonzo. I've been Geo, been Hammer's Chat. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like on it, subscribe if you're new to the channel. We're ready to do player ratings, where we're going to discuss all the players in more detail over on Patreon. But don't sign up to it this evening. If you're not a Patreon member, do not sign up to it tonight, because you get charged tonight and tomorrow with it being the first. Wait. Sign up tomorrow, the first of the month. Best time to join up. You get the player ratings, where we're going to discuss the players that we haven't mentioned tonight, including Nikola Vlasic. Me and Gonzo may have a discussion about Nikola Vlasic. Catch you in a bit.